skills is called the Humpty Dumpties, all right? There's 3 different ones. There's Humpty Dumpty's roll to back, Humpty Dumpty's sitting, and Humpty Dumpty's standing. The first one we're going to do is Humpty Dumpty's roll to back. This would be for infants that may not be able to get to the side. Okay, Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. 1, 2, 3. I cue them. They come into the water. One hand on the head, one hand on the shoulder, and move to the back. Okay. The next skill is Humpty Dumpty getting to the side. I'm going to sing the song, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to twist the hand, and it's just going to turn and go to the side, just like this. Okay? All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Little pull in and twist and go to the side. What we want to make sure is that parents have a tendency to do this, okay, all right, or this, all right. What we want to do is we want to hold under our hands like this, and we want it to be a natural fall as they fall into the water, just a natural fall. 1, 2, 3, and then a little twist, tap, tap, back to the side, the anchor back onto the wall, and that is the Humpty Dumpty sitting. Now the Humpty Dumpty standing, what we want to make sure is that they come out. All right, we don't want to leave them alone and have them hit the side, okay? We're going to hold their wrists, okay? And if we're going to be in front of them, we hold their wrists like this. 1, 2, 3, give them a little twist, tap, tap, back to the side. The next thing is how to get the child to get out of the water. What we're going to do is we're going to give them something to go for. And the way you do this is the child's going to hold onto the side. They're going to go elbow, elbow, pull up to the stomach, kick a leg over, and roll out. All right, so let me go ahead and try to show you again. These are the steps, the 4 steps. Elbow, elbow, pull up to the stomach, kick a leg over, and then roll out. And that is getting out of the pool.
The next skill that I have some tips and tricks for is the Humpty Dumpty roll to back. Some common mistakes with Humpty Dumpty roll to back for parents are that they don't add enough movement to the skill to make it really work. The other common mistake is how the child hits the water. So telling them about these things and setting it up before they do the skill is going to help make sure that they do it correctly. With the Humpty Dumpty roll to back, the child should be face planting the water. You want to make sure that they fall forward, and this is going to react to reflex so that they take a breath right before that they hit the water. Whereas with a regular Humpty Dumpty, we want to fall right in. With this one, we really want to fall forward. The other thing about Humpty Dumpty that parents also do wrong with this skill is that they don't let go. If you take a child from here, you pull them in, it's very hard to roll them in the correct position when you're holding on the whole time. So what's really important is that once the child does fall forward, that you let go for a second so you have that chance for them to be flat and for you to roll them in the spindle in the correct way. So it would look just like this. 1, 2, 3, and then we roll, just like we would with our rollover breathing. The other common mistake is that if you stay in the spot where the child hits the wall, there will be a lot of fighting and flailing on the rollover. For instance, if you stay right here and roll the child, they are going to have their legs go up, their head go up, there's going to be some issue there. If you make it one fluid movement, then it's going to be a lot more comfortable for the child and a lot more successful for the parent. So it should look like this. Fall forward, let go, roll, take a step backwards, and sit up straight. Now I'm going to talk talk about sitting and standing Humpty Dumpties. Here are some tips and tricks. When you're doing the sitting or standing Humpty Dumpty, again you want to think about how the child's going to hit the water. When you're returning to the wall, it's going to be best if the child falls in naturally in a somewhat vertical position. That way they can easily turn, just like the spindle when they're turning on their back, but this time it's going to be to the wall. Okay, so once the child is on the side, you want to make sure that if they will, you let them initiate the fall. It's okay in the beginning when they're resistant to have parents pull them in, but once you get a child that's sitting there comfortably and they may be inching out just a little bit, give them that chance to wait so that they initiate the fall on their own. The more that they begin to do on their own from the start, the best that they can do for the whole skill. The other thing that you want to think about is for a standing Humpty Dumpty. A common mistake that lots of parents will make is that they just let the child jump and they catch them. So you have to notice this as an instructor and say to the parent, this skill is accomplishing a survival method. So when you're catching them, they are feeling that false sense of security, like someone was always going to be there to catch them. And then you have a child that jumps out into the middle of the pool with no one there to catch them. This is what we call the no fear syndrome. This can be stopped by you stopping the assistance. So when a child does jump out into the water, the parent needs to make sure that they get out of the way so that the child is actually having to recover and swim to the wall. So if you see a parent catching that child, stop it right away and make them move back. I sometimes ask them to do it myself so that I can stand here and give the child room to go. That way if he jumps towards me, I'm going to make sure he does go into the water instead. With Humpty Dumpty return to the wall, when children are first becoming successful in this skill, one of the major indicators is that their one hand is reaching the wall. For instance, when you're doing the full assistance for a child and you do return them to the wall, you're holding on as they get to the wall to help them with that grip. When a child's done it a few times, they should be able to let one hand find the wall without any assistance. So as you bring them in, you give them a little turn, maybe you help with one hand, and their hand should find the wall. Sometimes parents don't think children are becoming successful with this skill, but those little things that you can point out to parents, did you see that he grabbed the wall with one of those hands all by himself, are going to tell them that those little steps mean big progress.